And the team is key.
Yeah.
The team is key.
It's like an orchestra out there, right? Shane's got
I tell my wife it's like being in an orchestra. They're all key parts, but they all have to work together. They all have to be in tune, and if they're not, it doesn't work very well.
Yeah. a little less buttoned up, like you're not wearing a tuxedo.
You know what it's like? Sometimes it's a little bit like jazz.
Right, it's right. That's right. That's right.
It can be less structured. An orchestra is very structured. You need to let the jazz guys go.
Less Beethoven, more Davis.
Yeah, more Miles Davis.
More Miles Davis.
Can't have too much Miles Davis.
I was gonna name this thing, the Renaissance of Canadian mining. Now I'm gonna say the Jazz of Mining.
The Jazz of Mining. Yeah.
The Jazz of Mining with Shane Williams. Oh my gosh. All right, we're at Beaver Creek with my favorite mine builder of them all, Shane Williams, West Red Lake Gold. Put it there, man. Man, every time we hang, it's always insightful, illuminating. Our last interview was, I would say, epic.
It was good.
It was good. It was a way an interview should be done. Some fine Irish whiskey, a fire, and talking mining.
And I think our first interview was done actually here in this place.
It was. But Shane, always a pleasure. Let's talk mining and Canadian mining specifically. One thing that's very interesting, and it really feels like we're in a renaissance for Canadian mining. A, you got the Madsen Mine coming on. B, we just saw Great Bear, Kinross's PEA. That was pretty epic. And 3, we've got gold at 2,500. This is a pretty nice trifecta. Can it get better? And just like maybe blue sky the opportunity for Canada, for mining, the resurgence of mining. Talk about it.
Yeah. So the most important part is gold price.
Yeah,
2,500.
right.
You can't do better than that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll bring you back to a nice analogy.
Yeah.
The old timers who mined back in the Red Lake region, I meet some of them.
Yeah.
Their biggest goal was for gold to go from 450 to 475. They were done.
Right.
Now here we are in 2,500.
Yeah.
We're wondering why isn't it going to start? So just a bit of context. So look, it's a good time for Canadian gold mining. We've seen a bit of a resurgence now. We've seen gold. We've seen the majors bring in epic quarterly numbers.
Yes.
Lots of cash flow, lots of free cash flow. And investors are beginning to get back in. All those major share prices are up.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before it comes down. In Canada, lots of M&A in Canada in the gold mining space.
Right.
We had a Cisco, we had Gold Fields, you have Anglo Gold recently.
That's
with
right.
Centerra. You had a lot of stuff. So it feels like it's beginning. It's only a matter of time before it comes down to the next level.
So we got to add to that fourth last M&A, right? We got M&A in addition to the other pieces.
To the other stuff. And also you have lack of political risk. A lot of issues are going on in the world now. In Africa, in South America, Mexico, So people are thinking, we've got to be in Canada.
Right.
Canada is the place to be. And Canada has a long history of gold mining. Right. So those combinations are driving a bit of a resurgence, I think, in Canada. And premium projects in Canada, high grade, are a key. They're the key for that.
It really is interesting from that perspective of the stability politically from a jurisdiction. Like, you guys are in Red Lake. It's been a historic mining district for a very long time. Can you talk about just the community and the the energy there, just seeing what's getting built at Madsen and the opportunity?
Yeah. Look, the Red Lake region has a very storied history. Like 40 million ounces of gold has been out there. That's a lot of gold at an average price of, call it, $200 over the last 150 years. Yeah. There's a lot of money generated in that region of gold.
Yeah.
So, but over the last, call it, 15 years. There's been a bit of a down since the Gold Corp era. That was the last big resurgence with the high grade zone and everything. It's been tripping along. But look, in the last 5 years now, you had Great Bear coming in there. You have Evolution coming in there with Gold Corp. You just had Kinross come out with a fantastic PEA. So Red Lake is the place to be now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Before,
Yeah,
for a while,
yeah.
everyone was in the Golden Triangle. You know that. Everyone
That's
was
right,
in
that's
different
right.
areas. They were just hot spots.
Yeah.
People kind of forgot about. I think the Great Bear PEA people would go, wow, Red Lake is the place to be, you know, because that was an epic sort of a study.
Yeah.
People forgot about it. And I think people were on the Golden Triangle, high grade, small, up in the mountains, and people are going to go, wow, Red Lake is the place to be. And we're just at the cusp of that, and it's a great place to be, I think.
And you have the infrastructure, you have the accessibility, it's all check, check, check.
It's all check, 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 and people will look at that and go, look, the PEA Kinross was great.
Yeah.
But look, it's very early stage.
Of course.
Look, they have no permits, we have permits. They have no infrastructure, we have infrastructure. You know, they don't even have as persons, teams. We have all that ready to go. So, you know, okay, we're not as big and we're showing a scope, but in the runway that we have in this gold, just this key runway now, we're having a gold, we're there. Kinross is a long way out. We're there.
So that's, you know, get to the West Red Lake Gold sits in this golden runway, right? And to all those things that Great Bear doesn't have,
Yeah.
and they'll get, but for an investor, there's a period where, you know, prior to having those things, the stock prices can languish, but here you guys are sitting right at the front end of the golden runway. You talk about what is this golden runway, right? In the context
Yeah.
of the Lassonde curve, the great historic Lassonde curve.
The great historic Pierre Lassonde came out with that curve. It's a great curve, actually. And it's actually, sometimes it's known as the Valley of Death, where mines go to die, because
Right.
the initial runway is the initial excitement,
Yeah.
the resource, the high-grade drill results. Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that. So when that comes out, the stocks run. They go crazy. People love that sort of stuff. It's they kind of forget what comes next. You know
Right,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the first enthusiasm. I love it. Here's it goes. So stock prices tend to rise, and they get a lot of that. And then the definition phase comes a little bit. You have to actually build a mine. You have to do the engineering. You have to do the hard labor that needs to be done. So investors don't like that. It's the long. It can take 5 years, 7 years of valley, and nobody cares about it. There's no sexiness. There's no upside. You're doing permitting, engineering, design, and then when you get, then that's all done, and at the end, then there's another cusp as you move from there into that production scenario. Move from a developer sort of ongoing into a producer. That gets a second kick. So you've kind of two kicks at it.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are in the company, if you're starting early, it can take a long time to get you get the first kick, but it's a long time to get the second kick.
Yeah.
If you're a producer, you don't get any kick. You just get a little bit of upside.
Right.
But a developer is unique in that they're on the back end of that. They're just on the second kick. They're just waiting there, ready to go. We have infrastructure, permits, people. So we're just moving from that developer. Normally it takes longer. Because we can move very quickly. So if you're doing that in a rising gold market, that's the sweet spot.
And that really is a sweet spot for you guys. Now, Shane, you know, I've learned a ton from you on your insights on building mines, and you know, you have a successful track record of building mines. And you talk about operational excellence, right? You know, this is what, you know, in this period of getting a mine built, you know, it's operational excellence is really an important aspect of it. Talk about what you're in this phase right now. You're bringing everything together, like a lot of things happening. How do you manage it all?
So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, to build a mine, you have to do those steps. You cannot shortcut them. So there's a lot of work to do. It's all about, obviously, I have experience of doing it, but for me, it's key about getting the right team. Yeah. You know, you need to be able to build a team, and it's about setting a culture of excellence, bringing in team members who are experienced. Obviously, there's so much to do. I can't do everything. No. We need to bring in a team, and then a layer below them. But if you bring in the right people, and you bring in the culture, and you bring that energy that you know is there, and you've seen it, you've been on site, then you get people to do good things and really care about the next stage. Most people know what they want to do, know how to do it. It's about the setting the structure, setting up to be successful. And if they can do that, and you give them some guidance, and you kind of lay out the plan, and you do it right, most people respond to that. And the team is key.
Yeah.
The team is key.
It's like an orchestra out there, right? Shane's got
I tell my wife it's like being in an orchestra. They're all key parts, but they all have to work together. They all have to be in tune, and if they're not, it doesn't work very well.
Yeah. a little less buttoned up. You know, like you're not wearing a tuxedo.
You know what it's like? Sometimes it's a little bit like jazz.
Right, yeah, it's right. That's right.
You know?
That's right.
It can be less structured. The Nugs is very structured. You need to let the jazz guys go a little bit.
Less Beethoven, more Davis. Right?
More Miles Davis.
More Miles Davis.
Can't have too much Miles Davis. But yeah.
I was gonna name this thing, the Renaissance of Canadian mining. Now I'm gonna say the Jazz of Mining.
The Jazz of Mining, yeah.
The Jazz of Mining with Shane Williams. Oh my gosh! So we got a couple of questions here. So. With respect to definition drilling, right? So one of the big aspects of the Madsen Mine, you guys are doing a lot more definition drilling. It's important. Could you just talk about how important that is to getting this mine restarted?
Yeah, look, it's key. Yeah. Part of the failure of the last operator was the lack of understanding of the ore body. Yeah. The only way to understand an ore body, particularly in Red Lake, where it's high grade, narrow vein, is to drill. Drill, baby, drill. Yeah, that's what it's got to be. And we've put a lot of effort into that. Very tight space drilling, 6 meter drilling. We've done just nearly 50,000 meters of drilling. By the end of the year, we'll be up to, 70,000 meters. And we'll be drilling 70,000 meters a year for the next 10 years.
Wow.
Just constantly drilling, mining. That's the process you need to go through.
Yeah.
So it needs a lot of drilling. Sometimes the big open pits, you drill them out, boom, you just mine.
Right.
It doesn't work like that with underground. You need to keep ahead of yourself. You need to keep the drilling. And it's key to an underground mine, the level of definition drilling.
And final piece here, we're coming into the fall. The gold price is working for you. What are the key takeaways for an investor as they think about gold, investing in the gold sector, but more importantly, investing in West Red Lake Gold, and just how you're thinking about it as a CEO?
Yeah, look, we have a lot of catalysts coming on in the back half of the year. We've been kind of doing the hard work for the last 12 months, and a lot of them are going to come to fruition over the next 6 months. So we're doing a pre-feasibility study. That'll come out. I think people will go, wow, that's a good pre-feasibility, good MPV, good IR. They've done the work. On social media, we're getting a lot of equipment on site. We're buying equipment every day. We're bringing stuff. And as we go in, we're doing some test mining underground, which will do reconciliation. So there's a key catalyst. And then going forward, we look at potentially doing our last bit of financing, and then making a decision to do a restart. So that's all to happen. A lot of stuff going on. And in parallel, we're doing some exploration drilling, and that's where it gets really exciting. It's kind of like we're doing the front end of the Lassonde curve and the back end at the same time.
Two for one.
Two for one. You're getting 2 for 1, and that's exciting because most people do the development, but we're doing early stage exploration plus we're doing the back end, and that's where jazz could come in.
Well, and the jazz in that quality of the rocks, right? It really does And
if you're going to find anything big, it's in Red Lake. You're in the right. If you want to be Elephant Country, you need to be in.
Elephant Country, jazz, playing jazz in Elephant Country. That's Shane Williams, West Red Lake Gold.